And welcome to the Carolina Panthers post-game show, Cox Sports Edition. I'm the coach, Dick Cox, joined by Dustin Phifer. Season's opener today for the Carolina Panthers at the bank, and they come away with a hard-fought 24-7 win.
Yeah, 2-0 start now for this Carolina Panthers team. We haven't seen this the last few years, Coach. A lot of slow starts for this football team, but they're off to a 2-0 start. They got a win on the road in the division. They come home and play a good Detroit Lions football team who dominated the New York Giants last Monday night in their opener, and hold a high-powered offense to 7 points. They've got a lot of distractions going on, Coach, which we'll get into in this video, but the team came together. They played as a team. They played really well, and like we said, they're walking off the field feeling good. Two games, 2 wins.
The thing that I'm most impressed with is they've played 2 weeks now. They were missing their starting quarterback last week. Yep. They were missing their starting running back this week and a Pro Bowl defensive end this week, though. But they find a way. They've got other guys on this team that step up and come to play, and that's the great thing about it, the way that they have built this franchise with depth.
They definitely have, and that's one thing they didn't have a few years ago, and everybody thought the sky was falling in the offseason with all the changes.
And I confess, I'm in on it too.
All the changes that were made in the offseason, different players coming in, some players leaving, some players who've been here forever leaving. But what they've done is they've built this team pretty well from front to back. So it's not just the starters. They have depth. And the main place you can take a look at is that defensive line, Coach. They have, like you said, a Pro Bowl defensive end out in Greg Hardy. Mario Addison comes in, Wes Horton, guys like that come in, play big roles. Addison has 2.5 sacks, and the D-line is after Stafford all day long and helps get pressure for that defense to create turnovers. And we just see it. You know, D'Angelo's out, Stewart comes in, Tolbert. They just have depth at the right spots, and it's good to have. And this team has a lot going for them. When you have a caliber of defense that this team has, if you can go out there and your offense and start clicking like it did in the second half and get a couple touchdowns, then all of a sudden you come away with a 17-point win when it was only 6-0 at halftime. So a lot of things for this team to build on as they head into next week.
As a coach, I love it. I love it when these guys that are not your big names, your superstars, get their chance to show what they can do. And they come up showing, hey, we don't miss a beat. I can play this game too. Maybe I don't have that big contract. Maybe I don't have that big name, but give me a chance, coach, and I'll produce for you. As a coach, I used to love that.
Yeah, you got to love that, and you got to love the players' mentality. I mean, everybody wants to talk about how, oh, Greg Hardy didn't play, and everybody who follows the Panthers, who watches our shows, anybody's shows, they know what's going on with that situation. But he's out, and yes, maybe the teammates are disappointed because they want to have their teammate by him, but they also know they have a job to do. And if somebody's out, they got to step in and step up. And so, you know, as much as you cannot let the distractions weigh you down, you got to go out on that field and you got to produce. And if you don't produce, then you may not be on that field come later on in the season. So these guys are stepping in when they get that opportunity. Coaches got to love to see that. You just talked about it. And they're taking the opportunity and they're making plays. And as long as they keep doing that and this Panthers team can keep playing together like this, I think they're going to have a pretty successful season.
Well, my statement right now is Greg who. Again, I like the way these guys came out. Hardy's a great player. We'll get into that later and all like that, though. But you got to move on. The show's got to move on. It moved on last week with that Cam. They won with that Cam. It's going to move on. And, again, the great thing I like was the defense played well early when the offense wasn't clicking. We knew with the half, when it was 6-0 at the half, that 2 field goals would not win this game. And sure enough, Detroit's a very talented team, gets it first possession, and moves down the field to go up 7-6. So what do the Panthers do? They step it up a notch, turn it up on offense. The defense doesn't give a beat, miss a beat, and getting in there and pressuring Stafford all day, though. And they come up with turnovers is the big thing, forced turnovers, whereas the Panthers did not turn it over and were able defensively to create turnovers, get some easy possessions, and, again, come away with a 17-point victory.
You're exactly right. At the start of the second half, when it was 6-0 and Detroit comes out and they score that touchdown, we looked at each other and said, okay, this is a game now. We knew that this high-powered offense is going to score. We didn't even expect them to be held to 7. We thought it was going to be more points than that. So we knew right then this offense needed to get together. And we knew with Cam coming out in his first game that there was going to be some rust. There was going to be some timing issues. We saw a couple of directions where the passes went and the receivers weren't there. That's just something they need to get on the same page with. But in the second half, this offense started clicking. They were able to finally get Stewart running the ball a little better. They were able to find their tight end, Greg Olsen, who is, anytime they're having problems, that's who they look for to get this offense going. They went up tempo a little bit like you talked about in the press box box with me. And then they also got their veteran guys. About how many times, Coach, I sit here and told you in the press box, everybody goes, why did we sign Jericho Cotchery and Jason Avant? Did you see them in the preseason? They caught like one pass between each other. Well, what do they go out there and do today? They're possession ball receivers. They go out there, they make catches for first downs. Jason Avant makes a catch for a touchdown, and it opens up this offense even more and gets them going. So I just like how players, like you said, Coach, they know their roles. They step in and make plays. Cotchery or Avant are never going to be big-time receivers, but they have great hands. They can catch the ball, and they can go out there and move the chains for you, and that's what you need, and that's what this offense was able to do. You saw Cam get more dialed in. I mean, he was throwing lasers out there, Coach, harder than I've ever seen him throw the ball, and they were able to get settled in, and what happened when you looked up at the scoreboard, all of a sudden they had a double-digit lead, and they were pulling away with this game.
And on the other side of the ball, I'm saying, why did we let my Gamecock buddy go to the Minnesota Vikings, Captain Munnerlyn? Captain, congratulations to the Gamecocks. So we already tweeted back and forth on that, though. But you bring in Thomas DeCoux. You bring in some of the other guys in the secondary. You draft a few kids back there. And this defense is still just as good, if not better, than they were last year. And to put up 2 great games the first 2 weeks of the season.
A lot of people are talking about,
we'll probably say this is the 6th game of the year. Because you've got 4 exhibition games. You've got 2 regular season games. But this is the first time this year that Cam has played 4 quarters in a game, because he was hurt. He was held out during the exhibition season, though. So again, this was getting rust off at time. It was conditioning, because there were some times that we did not see that quickness and maybe a little bit of fatigue in the pocket. He doesn't normally get sacked 5 times in a game. He normally gets away, but again, this is his first game of playing 4 quarters.
Absolutely, and you knew that it was going to take him some time to get adjusted and get back in rhythm, and I think we saw that throughout the course of the game. I mean, in the second half, you could see Cam really starting to get dialed in, completing passes to different receivers, and that was a good thing to see, because it was difficult to have Cam out for that long when you have new receivers and new guys coming in to be able to adjust with each other. But it was good to see them build that chemistry, and you could see them coming together in the second half. And I mean, as far as a complete game goes in that second half, defense and offense, you couldn't ask for a better game than that. This defense, we talked about in the offseason, Coach, I was one of the ones, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I thought this defense would be better. And that's just looking at the facts. You got 2 defensive linemen who were rookies last year. They come in, they get a second year. You got Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis. You know they're going to be there, only getting better. A.J. Klein was a rookie last year. He's going to get better. And the guys they brought into the secondary are
Blackburn's a veteran.
And the secondary they brought in, yes, it's all new guys, but it's veterans who not only been in the league for a while, but they played in this division. You talk about Roman Harper, Thomas DeCoux, Antoine Cason, a veteran who was with Ron Rivera in San Diego. These guys know about the league because they've been in there so long, and when you're playing behind the front 7 like that, you're always going to make plays. And I do think this defense is better than last year, which when you say that, that gives this team a chance to win football games every single week. And we saw that there. You just mentioned it, Coach. The offense was not great in the first half. They moved the ball, but they didn't score points. But the defense was so good that it kept them in the game until the offense did get it going, and that's when they opened up the game and put it away late in the third quarter. And when you have a defense like that, you're always going to be, I can't say it enough, you're always going to be in every single football game.
Well, you look back to week 1 on that, though. You're playing with a backup quarterback who I think is the best backup in the league there, though. But he had to feel good in knowing that their defense was not going to give up a lot of scores, that the Panthers were not going to have to score a whole lot on offense to win that game, though. Today they come out, they almost pitched a shutout right here, though. But again, they are playing great football right now in defense. And a guy I want to bring up offensively right now who has had back-to-back excellent games is go to your tight end, Greg Olsen. And again, this is a guy, our prayers and thoughts go out to him, because he's going through a very difficult time right now with his son having heart surgeries, and he's having to really split his times. And he admitted it's hard because his family, his kids, and everything comes first before the game, but he's got a job to do too. And he's trying to be 2 places at one time, and I think he was leaving here to go back to the hospital with his son, that he had another surgery and all. So it's, again, a big time for him right now, where he is trying to be the good dad and the good husband and be there for his wife and all. But again, it has not affected his play. Again, we talk about so many things going on with the Panthers. This guy is really going through a tough time, though, but his performance has not suffered at all.
Yeah, and we, like you just said, Coach, we can vouch for Greg. He's one of the nicest guys in the locker room, one of the nicest players in any sports we've covered that you'll ever meet. And we'll send our, like you said, our prayers and wishes out to his son, TJ. He said he's going to the hospital to spend the night with him, and we'll also, help him out a little bit. He's got a little event going on if you're here in Charlotte at Coyote Joe's with the country singer Lee Brice coming in, a big country singer, and all the proceeds that at Coyote Joe's tomorrow night on Monday night go towards TJ and his son and everything they got going on with that. So that's a great thing, and Greg Olsen does a great job. He said it first. His family comes first. He'll always be there. He left practice. He rushed to be with his son the other day. But he's still right back here with his teammates. He goes out on the field and has a great performance. And that just shows how much of a veteran and a professional he is. And we couldn't ask to have a better guy in the locker room. And when the Panthers have a lot of stuff going on, not only with his son, but with the distractions they have going on, it's great to have a leader like Greg in the locker room to be there for you.
And not to be left out, Greg Olsen was selected one of the captains of the team this year because he is a great leader. And again, that's what this team's all about. That's what this organization is all about. It's one big family. And that's why they've been able to overcome the adversity they face this year, injuries, off the field issues and things like that, because they are a tough, tight-knit family in the locker room. And again, I've coached for a long time, and there were times that we went through adversity. Every team will go through adversity at some time in the season. And again, the ones that can hang together as a family and all will be the ones that are going to be successful.
And it's not just Greg's leadership off the field, it's his play on the field. We looked at each other all day today. Anytime the offense was struggling to get something going, we looked at each other and said, might want to throw it to Greg Olsen. That's how you get your offense going. And every time he made a big play, if it was third down to get a first down. So it's good to have those guys. And like you said, we've covered a lot of teams, basketball, football, baseball, whoever it is. This team is a tight-knit group. They have great chemistry. People said last year when they won 12 games that the number one thing was their chemistry, and then you change players and you go, well, you can't have that same type of chemistry. Well, you know what they do? They have the same type of chemistry they did last year. They might even be closer, and some of that credit needs to go to Coach Ron Rivera to be able to get new players in like that and still have that same chemistry, still have these guys coming out here playing like they are. It's great. First time they've been 2-0 since 2008. I mean, it's just nobody wants to sit back and say, oh, we expected this. But you knew they still had a good defense. They still had a Pro Bowl quarterback in Cam Newton. They still had the defensive player in the year in Luke Kuechly. So all of these people who thought just because they lost Steve Smith, Jordan Gross, they were going to go from first to last, I think that's ridiculous, because anytime you bring back the best defensive player in the league, he got voted that, you bring back a Pro Bowl quarterback, and that style defense altogether, you're always going to be in football games. And Coach Ron Rivera and Dave Gettleman have been getting it right all along, and here they are, 2-0 again.
Well, I know what it's like to have to go through, and again, I go back up, as you say, with Ron Rivera on your chemistry, your organization, and your coaching staff are the key ones. That I've dealt with it when I would have players graduate. Now, they don't have players graduate at the pro level, but you have players that move on and like that, and you have new players coming in, and you've got to get them to blend in, to buy into what you're doing. You've got to love them, you've got to support them, and that's what this organization's done. And if you do that, guys will do anything for you. If you show you're willing to do anything for them, they'll do anything for you, and that's what they've got going on here with the Panthers. Now, let's get to the next issue right now. We've beat around the bush long enough right now that, the bomb was dropped where Greg Hardy was put on the inactive list today, or was not activated for today's game. We don't know how long it's going to be. There's a lot of unknowns that we have going on right now with the Panthers, win the league. I thought Ron Rivera came in and handled it with a lot of class, and he took one for the team today, basically saying it was his decision. He made a decision this morning of what was best for the Carolina Panthers, and that was not to activate or play Greg Hardy today. Your thoughts?
There was a couple things that I took away from when Coach Rivera came in and made his statements about Greg Hardy. The first thing is, he, like you said, he took ownership. He made the decision. He said it was his decision to deactivate Hardy and not play him. The other thing I thought that I took away was he said that this is a situation that everybody needs to respect, because it's not just about Greg Hardy. It's about the other people that are going through this situation, whether it's the victim, whoever it is, whoever's involved in that situation. You all got to be respectful of the process. One big thing that I took away, Coach, was that Rivera said that, and when it comes to this situation, they have to make sure they get this right. And he even said that, hey, we might have made some mistakes. Now, I don't know if he's mentioning maybe making a mistake by playing Greg Hardy in week 1, but I think with all the magnitude that's coming around,
or it could be a mistake and maybe not playing him today.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. We don't want to assume anything. And I think it's just the magnitude of everything that's going on around the league, Coach. It's not just about Greg Hardy. It's about what's going on in the NFL as a whole right now. This past week, and we can attest to this, might be the biggest black eye, and one of the biggest black eyes in NFL history. It's all these different domestic violence cases. It's all these now it's a child abuse case. There's so much stuff going on that I think there was so much pressure on the Panthers, to say, is it the right idea to have them on the field at this time? And again, I'm not going to assume anything of why they made the decision for him not to play, or if they think he should play in the future. That's something that's all going to be up to this organization, and we just have to respect whatever they decide. And like Ron Rivera said, it was his decision, and he's just happy about his football team being 2-0, and they'll deal with whatever they need to deal with coming in the future. And all we can really do is just sit back and see what happens. But I never want to be on camera with you assuming anything as far as the decisions they make, because we don't know all of the details.
Right. And as a coach, I know what it's like. I've had situations where players had to be suspended, a lot of things, nothing this major before, but there were some major things that you cannot tell the general public what's going on, because you run into all kind of legal issues, personal things, and all like that, privacy issues and stuff like that, though. And every case and every situation of things that happen are different. And, you know, we don't know everything involved. And my feelings are right now that I think that Ron Rivera handled it like a man. He handled it with a class, and I fully support the Carolina Panthers in their decision, whatever they do, because, again, they know they've got all the pieces to the puzzle, or a lot more than I do, and it's not me to second guess, or I don't think our fans should second guess what's going on, because they know a whole lot more about the situation than we do.
And let's be honest, I mean, people might look at this and say, well, if he played last week, why couldn't he play this week? The landscape has changed in the NFL. Look at all that happened in just 1 week since he played that last game. Again, the video comes out with Ray Rice, the stuff comes out with Adrian Peterson about the child abuse, which inputs more pressure on every single team in this NFL, not just the Panthers, for anybody who has a player in a situation like this to take a step back and say, what's the right decision? So people can say nothing changed from week to week, but there was a lot that changed over the entire NFL in this past week, and it's something that they have to take into account to make the right decision, and it's something that they did. And we heard from all the players in the locker room, they were business as usual. They said, yes, we love our teammate, and we're always going to support him because he is a brother to us, but we got to go out there. You talked about it as a coach. We got to go out there and make plays, and we got to step up and do our job. And I think this team did a good job, even though that happened this morning on the day of the game, of putting that behind them and coming out on the field and getting a win. And that's the kind of, they're going to have that same resolve moving forward in the season, because we have to admit, this is not an issue that's going to go away anytime soon.
No.
Hardy's jury trial is not set till November, so this will be an ongoing thing unless something happens and the NFL comes out and makes a decision, or the team makes a long-term decision. We may be talking about this next week, but as of now, you said it, I think Ron Rivera came in and handled it well. He did it with class, and we just move forward. The Panthers are 2-0, and we talk about some football.
Well, I'll tell you, ever since their existence, this franchise has been known for class. That Jerry Richardson probably is one of the classiest owners in the league. Danny Morrison, been a longtime friend of me back from his days of playing at Wofford College to be an athletic director, and all along the way, I know he is a man of integrity. And then you look down the line with Ron Rivera, his coaching staff, the communication people we deal with are the best in the NFL, in my opinion, and all like that, though. And I think that they know how to handle the situation, and they're handling it in a professional way, and that's the way it needs to be handled.
And again, it's something, we're not going to put it to the back burner, because it's a story. It's a national story. It's not just a local story. And it's something that we will talk about as the season goes on. But I think Rivera made a good point. You also got to talk about the football side of it. This team's 2-0, and this team's sitting in first place. The Saints lose today. The Falcons lose today. They're the only team in the division without a loss, so they're sitting with the lead in the division in first place. So you can't, as much as you want to harp on that because it's such a big national story, let's not forget about the football side and the job that these players are doing that are out on the field making plays and getting wins. So yes, we will talk about the story because it's national, and we will update on anything that goes on, but we also don't want to harp on it. You want to focus on football as well. And right now, the Panthers will play a primetime game next Sunday here at Bank of America Stadium as a 2-0 football team.
Absolutely. And you know my philosophy on this, being a former coach, I don't look for garbage in sports. I look for the positive aspects.
Right. After a while, it gets old.
It does. It does. When I was coaching, I used to get sick of hearing it, and I'm looking for the positive things. Again, this team is off maybe to one of their best starts ever. Yep. They're going to be on national TV next Sunday night, playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers team that's always good, but they're struggling here, though. Great opportunity for this team to really show what they're made of. Regardless of what the situation is, we don't know what's going to come out this week, though. But I think it's going to be a packed house again. I counted today, there were 27 cameras in the post-game media room in there, the most ever. I've never seen that place packed like that before, though. So there's excitement here, though, and we need to keep the positive excitement going, because this team, again, is off to one of their best starts. They are defending South champions.
People forget that.
Right now, in a game up on the pack after 2 weeks right now on everybody else, though. Let's support them in a positive way, and, let's put all the garbage in the can and not worry about it.
Exactly. And like you said, we're going to talk about it, but we're definitely not going to harp on it. We have to report it because we are broadcasters. But we're gonna focus on the good stuff. We're going to focus on a good football team out on this field. I think this defense is top 3, if not the best defense in the NFL. I think Cam, for his first game back, he struggled a little early, but I think he found a really good rhythm, almost 3 for 300 yards, did not turn the ball over. That's key. And I just think this team has a lot of momentum going forward. Even if they have any kind of distractions, they have a lot of momentum and confidence going. And next week, we know when the Steelers come to town, there are a lot of Steelers fans who move from up north down here that like to come fill the stadium. But I got a feeling this place is going to be rocking with a 2-0 Panthers team with a chance to show national TV that, hey, like you just said, did you forget about us? We're the defending NFC South champions, and we got a chance to go 3-0.
I've heard some people say from first to worst. I totally disagree with that. Some reporters have said that, though. But what we have learned the first 2 weeks is, number one, we can win without Cam Newton.
Right.
Again, I say that Anderson is the best backup quarterback in the league, former Pro Bowl player. We have learned that we can win without with D'Angelo Williams playing, that we've got other running backs to step up, and we were even down to 1 at one point after Whitaker and Tolbert went out hurt. We were down to 1. But we have learned that. We have learned that we can play without a Pro Bowl defensive end. We have learned that we can win. The talent, the players are here. It's just a matter of fact if they got to keep playing hard, and these guys have got to have the positive support of the fans, and I think they got a chance to be right back in the playoffs again at the end of this year.
Yep, and the home crowd's got to be loving it. They were 7-1 last year at home. 1-0 now this year. They win 10 of their last 11 regular season games and then lose the playoff game, and now they've won their first 2. So a lot of momentum for this team. And like I said, Coach, you got to figure with the defense playing this well and the offense still trying to find their rhythm, it's only going to get better. So this team can still get better even though they're 2-0. They got a lot of things to still work on. They'll go get it corrected, and they'll be ready to come out on Sunday night against I guess you can call it a rival because there's a lot of Steelers fans here around Charlotte. It'll be a big game here at Bank of America Stadium in primetime.
I've said it for 27 years when I was coaching. Offense wins games. Defense wins championships. Gettleman has come in and built this team on defense. And that's why this team has got a chance to be a contender again. They were the number 2 defense in the NFL last year. And they got to be right either 1 or 2 this year with that, though. But they give you a chance. When you play defense like they do, your offense is not going to show up every week. But if your defense shows up, you got a chance. Even as bad as your offense may play, you still got a chance to win.
That's right. I said at the start of the video, and the defense, as long as you have a defense like that on the field, you will be in every single football game. And we've seen that here. Even if the offense is struggling, the defense keeps them in the games. Offense gets going, and you get a 17-point win today. And after everything, the way the day started with D'Angelo being out, the Hardy news, people maybe were kind of getting a little down. Everybody leaves the stadium with another Panthers win, and they look forward to next week.
Good news tonight from Bank of America Stadium. Hey, good weekend. Gamecocks win a big one over Georgia. No, I did not rub it in to Thomas Davis or to defensive end Charles Johnson, who is a Georgia graduate, though. But Stephen Drummond, the communications liaison in there with me, who's a Gamecock buddy of mine, we did play some knuckles together right there. We're still celebrating. But the Panthers get a big win, too. A win is a win. It won't say anything about pretty or ugly tomorrow. It'll just say W.
It'll say W, 2-0. Looking forward to it. It's a great opportunity, like I said, to go on primetime and show the national fans, national media that, hey, this team's still here to play some football.
That's going to do it. Don't forget Greg Olsen's special event tomorrow night. And where is that?
It's at Coyote Joe's here in Charlotte. So if you get a chance, go out there tomorrow night. All the proceeds will go towards the foundation that supports his son and everything that he's going through, and it's a good opportunity for you to go out and support a good cause. He's
Dustin Phifer. I'm the coach, Dick Cox. We'll see you again next week, live from the bank. Until then, have a good week, everybody.